Good evening and welcome to the Sporting Club Ireland podcast and our All-Ireland Final preview. Delighted to be joined by my co-host, former Galway great and current GA Plus pundit Michael Meehan. And our special guest this evening is a man who needs no introduction, one of the most recognisable faces in GAA. He captained Clare to 2 All-Irelands, including an unforgettable triumph that ended an 81-year wait. 3-time All-Star, 3-time Munster champion, also managed Clare and Dublin, successful businessman, and now one of the game's most insightful pundits. Most importantly, if you ask anyone who knows him, he's one of the good guys. So, Anthony Dalo, Daly, welcome.
Yeah, how are you doing, Mark? How's it going, Mick? Delighted to join you lads. A few previews this week. I tell you, it's busy time. It'll be easy talk to on Monday, I suppose. Once we're finished our own podcast Monday, we kind of take a 6 or 7 week break, and it's mad, really. Like we only come back when the clubs are at the kind of semi-final stage. So it'll be welcome as well, but because it's been a hectic time. But it's unbelievable that the season is all but over. But really look at, by the same token, really looking forward to sort of a novel pair and like a repeat of 18 and a repeat of 80, which were two huge famine-ending successes for either county, and the scenes at the end of both, like if we get a repetition at the weekend, it'll be just unbelievable.
Should be great. But before we jump into the actual preview, just yourself, Dalo, what did All-Ireland week look like for you? You're very busy. I'm sure you a lot of things on. So what did it look like? You're busier than most people.
This week, oh Jesus, it was mental. Yeah. Last night we had our own live show, and of course it went well. We were down to Castletroy Park, and we had Cyril Farrell, and we had Hoggy, and then we had Landers and TJ. So when it goes well, then you feel like an old beer. But a hand had me enlisted, that great Limerick traditional club, obviously the Morrisseys. Yeah, Donald, their dad, had me asked to do a breakfast this morning, and TJ was doing it as well. So I tell you, when the alarm went off at the phone at about 7 o'clock this morning, but it was great. It was a great morning. Yeah, we had Aisling Connolly, who's married to Conor Fitz, obviously, in Adair, and we had Johnny Cohen. So we had great crack.
Okay.
These breakfasts are mighty job, really. Like, have the breakfast way back to work.
Yeah, it's a feature of the 2 week turnaround, isn't it? The county boards have to cram in everything just for try and maximise everything, the hype, the money. It's a pity in a lot of ways, but it's every county has to do it that way.
Yeah, unbelievable, Mike. Like, I'm too bad now. I have another one tomorrow night, and then going to the GPA lunch tomorrow because my teammate Johnny Callanan, he's been honoured a Hall of Fame award, so go to that and go to another one out in Kildare. But TJ Ryan, like, I think last night was his third one, then his fourth one was this morning, and he's on again tonight at the Galway one, I think, is it? Yeah, so just nuts. Yeah. Like, he'd have a connection with Galway, obviously, with Thomas's for the first part, the 3 in a row. They went on to obviously make it 5 or 6, I think, but yeah, so it is nuts. It is nuts. But
apart from Cyril Farrell, was there anyone tipping Galway last night down in your live show?
It was mostly Limerick, obviously, you know, and when it's on the Castletroy Park, you'd expect that. I'd say Cyril, was kind of heart and head, and yet saying he felt that maybe, you know, queer things happen in the finals. I'm a bit the same now. It's grown on me. Galway have really grown on me as the season has gone on, and Leinster final against Cork. And if it was Cork and Limerick, like, there'd be fairly split, wouldn't it? Like, as to who'd win it. Like, so they have great form going into Galway. It's just maybe you think the other crowd are good at finals and that kind of thing. And like, he's never lost a final in play, like Kylie. It's amazing record. Amazing. Like, so I do think there's a feeling maybe that if they're going to crash Limerick, this is the type of team that could make them crash, where, you know, Clare brought all of what Clare always bring in terms of the guts and the thunder and everything, but maybe we hadn't quite the legs to see it out, whereas this young Galway team, a couple of exceptions obviously, but they have loads of legs, like, you know, and if they're there, I'd say with 10-15 to go, these boys could kick on, like.
Yeah, just on that, we'll drill into maybe some of the individuals as well, but certainly from a Galway point of view, and just their quarter-final, semi-final, they're just getting, their performances are really improving up there the last stage. It was just such a tonic after the week before Galway football going out against Dublin, but sending Cork packing was amazing for every Galway person in the stand, and it was driven on by everyone, I suppose. The older guard played their part, but the young lads in particular, really went at it. And I suppose the hope for me then is, and Anthony, I'd like to get your point on this, is, there's probably 3 lads there in the forward line in the first season, they're probably going to be targeted by Limerick now as well coming in the next day. How difficult is it for those lads to get to the pitch of the game again on All-Ireland final day? There's everything new in an All-Ireland final. It's landing on these lads' shoulders. I know you have the Manions and the Burks and all those lads who are going to talk them through it and walk them through it, but how difficult is that, for a guy in his first season, having gone well in a quarterfinal, semi-final, to back it up again on the biggest day?
Yeah, it's hard. By the time I got to play him one, I was kind of 25, and I'd been through a few bad Munster final days, and all of a sudden we won a Munster and we were new men, and we were never thinking about All Ireland. It's we were just thinking about getting a Munster title. 11 Munster finals had been lost. So yeah, it's a bit different. I think there's great solace in the manager having done it. He ended the famine from Cyril's time, and I think his management's much the same. Added with Cyril Donlan now as well, and Aidan Hart, another one who has the medal. The Dahys, the Manions, these guys, they'll be a big help, but you can't really tell how they'll handle it. It is that much of a day. But if they're easy and free and say I don't kind of believe now either in this free shot theory. Galway have a free shot.
Much to lose.
Yeah, absolutely. You know yourself, you'd say this is way ahead of schedule, really, in Meehan's kind of transition. And they're here. Oh, Jesus, you have to try and take it when you're there, and that is the big thing. I don't really know their characters, in terms of Neary, Rabbit, Nyland. I just think the one man in Ireland that probably won't be there, Rory Burke, has really impressed me. And of course, I know the pedigree there, but Jesus, I thought he was electrifying the championship early on and the league.
He was. He was.
If he was there, I'd really be going over the other side of the fence. I just think that guy could be a star. But obviously, yourself, a bad hamstring's a bad hamstring. And so I know it's 6 weeks since the Leinster final, but if you do it like the way he did it, setting up the goal. Yeah, but I've loved him, and I just think, even the likes of Cian Daniels, who's outstanding in the league, he's kind of lost his place, but he'll come in, I think, and play a big role. And there's a few subs, you look at Fintan Burke as for pure experience. Conor Cooney off the bench, that's huge. So, how do you handle it? You look at everyone will handle it their own way. Michael, I've seen lads. I only played in 2 of them, but I actually saw lads going to pieces the week of the other final. They were getting worse. We normally do kind of Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And by Friday, you'd say, that fella has no hope of playing well. He's in bits. No, I was fucking good like that. I have to say, I didn't kind of get massive pre-match nerves, even with club and county finals and Munster clubs. I didn't really suffer from that, but I could see other lads that struggle to handle it, and maybe they handle it next time round and that kind of thing. But as I said earlier, next time round is not a real proposition for anyone. When you get, it's so hard. I know. Tipperary going to be back next year. Cork will come again. Kilkenny will come again. Well. Clare will be rebuilding, but they will be okay. In Limerick, they might lose 1 or 2, but they'll still be good. So it's a huge chance, no more than it is for Mayo, kind of thing.
Yeah, the similarities there, really.
And, yeah.
Okay, you touched on it earlier, I suppose, and I agree with you. The point about Micheál Donoghue, he comes across as such a level-headed, man, in control of everything. The highs aren't too highs and the lows aren't too low, so he's a good man at the helm. And knowing the older guard that are there since 2017 as well, this pedigree, and there's everything that comes with them, the Manions, Dahy, lads like that, Conor Whelan. So you'd hope that there's a good mix, really, that have a mix there. They certainly should have the legs, I suppose, as well. But it mightn't they mightn't get to use them, I suppose, as much. But one thing then that just stood out for me the last day, and again, it's a point, maybe from the point of what Limerick might do is, I assume Dahi Burke is gonna. I think you'd have to chop his leg off before he wouldn't start. You know, and he's going to come in there.
Last day, like?
Yeah, I don't know. I genuinely I don't know, but yeah, he's obviously going to have a little bit of a target on his back now. You'd imagine if Limerick will try and smell blood, that they look to try and expose there if he comes back, you know, carrying himself a little bit like he did in that match. But 2 weeks is a very short time to maybe to improve that injury an awful lot. But like what would be the fear there from the Galway perspective if Limerick go after Dahi? How would they do it? What would they do? Who would they put in there? Or can you see that happening or being part of their plan?
Well, the gas thing is like the guy I suppose we think he'll match up with. He's in very poor form, Aaron Gillan, like, you know, so he's just not himself. And no, he could be due as well, of course, in a final. He's that type of guy. Yeah, it is one. I presume for the 2 weeks and the very fact that he finished the game and finished kind of okay. Now they had to move young players onto Brian Hayes, but I mean, Brian Hayes is like if he's in the full of his health, he's going to have his hands full with Brian Hayes at the moment. Like, I'd say the very fact that he finished, he got through it. I'd say he'll have done very little, as you can imagine. You know yourself, a few injuries near the end. And I'd say it was all about just getting him ready for the weekend. Like, the training doesn't matter. What bit of training would he do in the 2 weeks? You know, so just getting his body right, I'd say, was the key thing. I think Fintan is the obvious guy for me as a kind of a old school fullback, you know, defender, tough man, good in the air. So I think Fintan could be the man. Other than that, you're looking maybe at a bit of a rejig with somebody going back. Obviously, Gavin Lee has played in the backs quite a bit. So yeah, so many fascinating things. Like how are Limerick going to cope with Carl Mannion's role is another huge one. Like, I mean, he's got free rein in the Leinster final. He got free rein against Cork when we didn't think he would. And like, they don't traditionally, you know, Tony Kelly likes often a bit of crack in Clare as who's Tony Kelly's favourite manager, and you'd say Brian Lohan, obviously. The bit of a jibe in Clare is John Kiley, because he doesn't man working. Like, you think, like, when they play Kilkenny, Mikey Butler just goes on him. When they play Robert Doyle just goes on him. You know, and Limerick kind of just don't deviate from the system now. A lot of lads talking to, especially this week now at our show last night, Patrick Horgan, you know, was adamant that this could set up for a huge day for the likes of Diarmaid Burns. You know, who'll hold and will get shots at the goal, and he's normally deadly or maybe slightly off the last day. So yeah, I think if he's declared fit, he might actually be better than the last day in terms of his health and how fit and how ready he'll be.
Yeah, go on, come on, Mark.
Oh no, sorry. I just want to jump in with your expertise there, Dalo, because do you think Darren Morrissey might pick up Glan? Do you think the full back line might just pick up and drop into the matchups that way, like maybe Josh O'Ryan on Casey and Trayers on Shane O'Brien, or do you think Dahi will drop back into the full back line again? I'm just curious how you see the matchups going, because I think Ronan Glennon will certainly have to take Garroge Hegarty, and he'll certainly have to have a massive game, because you've seen what Garroge did to pull Limerick to the last day.
Yeah, I kind of disagree with you there, Marco. I think they might put P. Mannion on him, like, and you know, go physical. Clare got a bit of joy with Conor Cleary being physical, but of course the warnings and the eventual yellow card and then Hegarty just thundered into the game down the stretch and virtually won him the game. And so I think they might go P. Mannion there, because Glennon is playing a very much up and down the field role. Yeah. Then in the inside, Jesus, I sound like an Egypt now at 20-4 on a Sunday, but I just think legs wise, whereas Gillan they usually want Peter Casey as the one off the two, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And Galway usually like to let Darren Morrissey out after that guy, because he's a good order and he's comfortable on the ball. But I think Limerick might try and get Casey out and say, right, let Darren Morrissey have it, but if you come out and Carl Mannion is playing very deep, you get him, and we'll let it go to Darren Morrissey, who's a great player, don't get me wrong, but Carl Mannion, like, is
He's
creme de la
in
creme,
serious
like getting
form.
loose ball and the ball he'd play up to Rabbit. So that's fascinating, but I would say Trayers maybe to match up on Shane O'Brien, who's he went over on Brian Hayes. That's good training for Shane O'Brien because like the bull is a fair handful. Like, so that's the way I'd see it.
Yeah. Okay.
That if he's right, he'd go on Gillane and try and go to war.
Okay.
Maybe you concede a couple of scores, but you try not to let him in for a goal. But I could be arseways on that. But
no, it is
just kind of my way of looking at how Micheál and how John Kiley would look at it maybe, and then how Micheál would be thinking as a defensive point of view, getting Trayers maybe on the big mobile guy and getting Dahi on the old school. Like I often said about Gillane, like Gillane could have played in any era, if you know what I mean. And I can go back to hurling in the 70s when it was a different game completely, and it's a different game completely when I played in the 90s and early 2000s. And like Gillane could have played, I'd say, in the 60s, and now because he's all the old tricks, like, and he's brilliant.
Yeah,
but he's just not on great form. So I think they might say, he's not in great form. Get in there, get on him, and look at hold him to what you can hold him. Couple of points, maybe, but sure. Look, these fellas have won All-Ireland. These managers, I haven't, so they know more about it than I do.
Fascinating.
It's going to be. I just see when you look across the Limerick half back line, the power and pace and size that they have, and then you think of Tom Monaghan, and he's just going to try to be zipping around and getting shots away, and he's in a serious vein of form as well. Like, and I suppose it's very hard to know who goes on who in that space. I'd say it's just going to be crashed with bodies between the 265. Is probably going to be crashed with bodies for a large part of that game.
Yeah.
What's the word? Keane Lynch is going to be good to go. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. TJ won't give away much now, but he was kind of suggesting that someone is going to lose out. They have a bit of a quandary as well. I suppose Kelly got the better of Dan Morrissey the last day, so Mike Casey then came on, and while you'd say Jason Rabbitt's a much bigger man, it would suit Dan Morrissey, but Mike Casey brings a different sort of a physicality. Can I say that in a gentle way? Yeah. he's a hardy boy, like, you know. Yeah. I've seen him marking likes of Peter Duggan, like, and he can hold his own on that situation. Yeah. So there's one, but yeah, look, the way Galway have been playing it, like, they've been leaving the one up front, and the boys are haring back the field. Then, like, I haven't seen an athlete like Neary. I have to say, Tom Monaghan loves that as well, haring back. No. The thing with this style is when you go here and back, you're going to be met by Keane Lynch, Gerard Hegarty, Cathal O'Neill, Darragh Donovan. You know, can they come out of those crash situations with enough ball to get it up to Rabbit and then the runners to get on him? Will Micheál tweak it a bit? Could he go just, I'm going to change and I'm going to go two inside with Wheelo in there as well? Well, Wheelo has been playing great outside, but you have to gamble maybe a small bit. Like, if they lose and he plays Wheelo inside and Wheelo plays poor, he'll get criticised heavily because of what's working is Wheelo coming out and being in the battle zone, and he's no one tougher, sure. But maybe you have to go with something a bit different. Like, maybe you just have to try and throw him off, if it's only for 10 or 15 minutes. So this is the quandary for me. Midfield as well. Like, I thought Clare kind of shaded the midfield. Ryan Taylor, I thought, was exceptional. He just kind of ran out of legs, maybe. He had so much done. And like that, he kind of got the better of Darragh Donovan. Now, that would worry me as well from a Galway point of view. That Donovan, you know, he's been around a while, Mikey, you know, and he'll be saying, my Jesus, if this is my last one, it's going to be my best one. Like, so that's why I kind of edging it for Limerick on the basis that these fellas have been on a long, long journey and they've given up a lot this year, I think. If any of us have read the build-up about Kiley going around the county having 2 to 3 hour meetings with everybody, it's great to have JP as a boss. But that would be John anyway. John is savage, like, from what I know. He's a great bloke. And I think they feel like, you know, this one, if they can win this one, like, it'll be a lot of their 6 medals, and you know, there's a chance there's not Cork there as well, which you think about that, like, that was going to be major jeopardy if it was Cork, wasn't it? Like, because they've beaten them in the league final, beaten them in the Munster final, and here's Cork again, and all the colour and the banter, but that kind of element is taken away from it. And do you know the other thing slightly in their favour is that they weren't overwhelming against Cork in the Munster final. You know, we all know about controversial late. How long of a play have you? And against Clare, like, let's face it, like if maybe the black card rule is changed for next season, which I think it will be, Nicky's off the field, like, and it's 14 and you're 6 ahead.
Yeah.
But that's suiting the narrative for them now, though, isn't it? Going into the final, that people are kind of questioning, saying this young Galway team could. So if I'm Kylie, I'm kind of loving this as well.
It is. You can see a similarity, I think, a little bit about how Kerry are going in the football. Just, you know, they haven't really been putting anyone to the sword, and there's, you know, Tyrone pushed them all the way, and same last weekend. And like, that is this great motivation, or there's a stick there for Kylie then to have over his lads there as they're going for another one. That is the worry. And going back to your earlier point then about, you know, if Conor Whelan is to go inside, you know, with Rabbit, just to mix it up initially, you know, and I think, look, it's not that it won't surprise anyone if it's done or tried, but it's just to try and upset what the opposition is doing. And I think it mightn't be a bad call just to have someone a little bit closer to Rabbit, maybe, because, like, he's been phenomenal, you know, in his first season, and the pedigree he has, and how he was throwing Cahalan and lads off
a couple of scars there, Mikey,
from his
dad, on the back of the head, from Daddy Joe.
I bet you do. You're not the only one, but you know, just having someone closer to him, you know, in the early doors, in case there's any heat coming on him. I could see Wheelo in there beside him, just a bit of protection and an outlet. Even talking to umpires and things like that, because you can be sure, you know, he's another man, if be it Morrissey or whoever who might go in on him. You know, they're going to want to ruffle his feathers early too.
They're not shrinking violets back there, like they've been giving out about Conor Cleary and a couple of our lads, Adam Hogan and I've seen these fellas from the high behind, like, you know, when you're doing your research for J Plus, like, the high behind you watch more than
tells the story.
Yeah, like, you're watching this and the ball's up the other end of the field, and like, as if now they don't hold at all, like they will be, and sure, look, equally, like Josh Ryan and Daly and Trailers are well have to hold too, so you have to probably. It's that balancing act, isn't it? But like, what's the game going to be like? So roughly, estimate wise, the game is going to be 77 or 8 minutes. It's like, why not put in Wheelo for 10 minutes even, like, you know, just to throw any kind of a curveball, like start Cahill inside as the one and bring Rabbit out in the wing, because Rabbit would be fine on the wing as well, because there's a puck out for Derek Fahey as well straight away. Just throw something to throw them, even though you know you're ready as a manager to get word in that we're back to plan A, like, do you know? We're back, and Jason is inside, and Cahill, you're roaming, and we'll get the runners up to you. So I just think he needs to come up with something small bit fresh. Limerick tend, as I said earlier, they tend not to deviate, like, and they tend to kind of hold the lines. You even see, do you know, like, the bunch and break puck out, like, and you know, from the football as well, it's the very same, like, but they won't go into the middle, like Burns will stay outside and Kyle will stay outside. Sure, puck it down the middle and the Terminator centre back. I know it's fantastic. Like, the Terminator, like, we call him the Terminator, obviously, affectionately, because he's such a midfield break-up merchant.
He's a beast, yeah.
But I just think the way he has grown into number 6, like, it's just phenomenal, because they were struggling last year without Declan, whether it be him or Kyle. But I think he has changed his game, and he's the real leader now. And obviously, Burns, he's having a great year. You can mention Kyle Hayes, like, sure,
I know.
Would you, if you're throwing a tenner on someone, like, could he be the fella to throw on from end of match? Like, because he just could, like, lord it now. Teams have been avoiding him back the last 2-3 years. Like, they've been avoiding him and pucking everything down the other side. But Burns is in such form this year that you're kind of saying, Jesus, plan B here, because like Clare and Ennis now, they hit nothing down on top of Hayes. And Burns was all but man of the match, bar Aidan O'Connor, I think, and Nicky Quaid made a few phenomenal saves that day, but Burns for me was top 3, like, so it's, yeah, well, look, I still think though, if Galway started, if they start like they did, and remember, Cork took over, like, but that patch before half time was real
those
sign
couple
of
of scores.
Yeah, I like, we're not going away here. And they go down the tunnel only a point down, and are lucky not to be level or ahead. Like, Wheelo had a bad wide, and they they missed a free, and yeah, like they're showing something different. And if they are there with 15 to go, and that crowd get up behind them, they could kick for home. Like, and you know yourself, matches take on a life of their own at that stage, don't they?
And like Conor Cooney, you mentioned about it, in fairness from the role that he's playing now and the scores he's getting off the bench, you know, he seems to have, I suppose, maybe accepted that role. Sometimes it takes a player a while just to kind of say, you know, this is me now. This is what I have to do. But he just brings so much, you know, he brings so much. And, you know, if you could have him coming on and the game is in the melting pot, yeah, it's, you know, we'll be roared. We'll be frothing at the mouth.
Nearly for the first time in the year, and it was late in the game, we saw Brian Concannon, and we know how actually talented that guy is. Like, could he be the flying the ointment that come in and they're not really ready for him or not thinking about him, and the range of skills that fella has. Like, so they have options. Limerick will have more options, obviously, with Keane starting and whoever they go for full back. So someone's going to lose out. Hard to call who'll lose out. It'll be one of the two midfielders. There's a call at full back. So could Gillan lose out because his form has been poor? So that's major. But they will have 2 to 3 very good subs also. So but I just have that feeling if Galway are kind of where Clare were, that they could kick for home. They could find another gear.
Just on Galway's puckouts, Dalo. So you know, you've just mentioned the sizable men Limerick have. Do Galway need to go short or kind of short middle to kind of I suppose win the possession, because that's going to be key, because obviously it's going to be hard for Tom Monaghan to get up above Burns or Kyle Hayes or whoever he's on. So meanwhile, they'll probably have to have some form of strategy around puckouts to kind of get some form of 50-50 or even 55-45 possession on the day.
Yeah, we'd be on live there now, and you'd be getting the stats, and it drives me demented when they say Galway retained short puck out, Cork retained short puck out, and it's out to a corner back, like, and there's no one on him, you know. So it's where that ball goes after that. Like, Limerick usually kind of do a half press, and they'll try and tease you into going to the corner back, the full back, and then they'll rush him. Like, and they're effective at it. Like, he just needs a lot of movement. And just look at the midfield now. Like, I mean, Tiernan going to midfield, I think, is a good move. Gavin Lee, it's kind of a new midfield in that ways. Like, because one of them kind of had been wing back, centre back, and the other fella had been wing forward. But they bring a huge amount of energy there. So, yeah, like you saw Cork at the start of the game, and it was awful stuff. Like, passing it across and over, and Galway just sat back. They did the same to Dublin, and they were passing it across and back, and that kind of gets up the crowd as well on your back, and they want to see, we all understand we want to see action, and I think that's one of the rules things that might be looked at. I'd say back to the goalie will definitely be banned when John Myler's committee come up with their recommendations. But yeah, look, there's ball winners there. If Cahill is given a free roll, get it to him. Sure, Jesus, he'll if you're gonna, if the first ball would say it's to Darren Morrissey and he can get it to Cahill in a patch of space, Cahill will pick out a guy 80 yards away who's running, and that's what they'll want to do. You're not going to dominate puckouts, especially with Burns, Donoghue and Hayes. Like, you're not going to eat them on puckouts. Like, you saw the puckout catch that Cian Lynch came up with after coming on against Clare for the goal. Yeah. Unbelievable. Like, so you're going to just have to vary things, I think. And not look at these percentages on your long puckouts and that. Yes, I'd often be saying this. I'd back coaching again. Like, can you not freaking break the ball? Like, and then Galway have been good at that, I think. Can you not get the ball to ground? Stop him from catching it, even if you're a wing forward, and get it to ground, and then have, like, the way I see that they've been playing is Neary and Monaghan have been haring back, Tiernan Killeen, haring into those positions to win on the opposition puckout. On their own, look, will they go quick? Limerick don't like it quick. Against Clare, all their pundits came out beforehand and made an appeal to Tyler Walsh not to allow the quick puck out. And the first one, he blew Ever Quilligan back. So Limerick seemingly don't like it quick. Something I wouldn't have picked up on, but it goes back to that Cork semi-final of 2 years ago where Patrick Collins pinged everything and he was allowed, and they complained about it. But yeah, look, puckouts, strategy, yeah. And then if like we all, isn't it the great old boxing one? We all have the strategy. You got a slap in the jaw, like, and you could see, like, that we'd bring Jason out for the first 2 puckouts. So Jason's very good in the air. We know that, right? So he goes down him, and who's it on top of? Then when he will say Burnsy or Hayes, and Burns catches it, and fucking thunders up the field and sets up Gillane for a point, and you're saying, what do we at? Go short. And so you just look at, you've got to trust the players on that. I think they will have their 2 to 3 puck-out strategies, and like Derek Fahey's having a great year in goal. Like he's right up there now, vying for an All-Star, I'd say, if he's a big day. So I think puck-outs could be overrated.
Okay, well, you would know better than me.
Well, you look at Clare the last day, like they just flooded numbers and broke the ball.
Yeah.
And for long periods of the game, Clare were dominating their own puck-out. And it was really Peter Duggan not trying to catch the ball, but just get it to ground. And the likes of the Taylors and these fellas were snapping in, rapid on the brakes. Cathal Malone, Kelly was drifting out. So that showed that you can be effective by not being, going short all the time and not absolutely going long and trying to create a one-on-one. Now, Limerick were effective late on, isolating Hegarty on the puck-outs. And he's so strong in the air, like, that can be a game winner as well. So you'd be anxious to cover him off as best you can.
Yeah. I think, and the point you make about maybe Pádraig Mannion then is it being the matchup there, but Galway seemed to love, and he's so good at reading and dropping back and covering off. He did it really well against Cork. When the pressure was on early on, Brian Hayes was flying. Pádraig was probably one of the first men getting back into dropping off his man when he could. So it's just strong
argument. Right. Strong argument, Michael, to leave Pádraig Mannion in his position, because he's really good at it. He's one of the best wing backs in the last 12, 13 years. And like the way we're looking at it, like Hago will probably be one of the 2 wing forwards. No, he does drift in. That's been a feature of this year. So there'd be a good chance that Pádraig could be just wing back in his natural position, but he's marking Gerard Hegarty. So like he'd have to be marking Colin O'Neill, who could hurt you very easily as well. So I wouldn't mind seeing that. I think you need to bring physicality with Hago if you have to have a chance. Like he's such a man mountain as well. Like he's a ferocious physical player. Like not in a dirty way. Don't get me wrong.
No.
Look, he's well able to look after himself. They're all are. But like he's not. He normally be winning frees rather than giving away frees. But he is just such a strong guy that you're going to need. I am not certain that Ronan Glennon is the man to go on Hago. Glennon's having a great year. Strong contender for man of the match against Cork.
I thought so, yeah.
Covering ground and he's attacking and he's an option. We've seen him getting goals early on the year. Like, so, yeah, I just think P. Mannion would be a good matchup on him, but are you robbing Peter to pay Paul? We'll all know at about 5 o'clock on Sunday, won't we?
I know. It's funny, Ronan Glennon, I saw him running down the tunnel at half time, and they held the Cork players back a little bit, but he just the couple of points back for Galway had kind of we went in strong, let's say, albeit behind the scoreboard, but he just came with a little dunt into the back of one of the Cork lads and kept going. But I just like to see it because it just kind of was a bit of a shot across the bows, and the Cork lads didn't like it either, but he was gone. They couldn't get to him. He was gone. But yeah, he was close.
The Mulla boys would be hardy, like traditionally.
I know, that is a fact. Yeah, that is a fact.
I was going to ask you, did you ever get a chance to hurl?
Primary school. Really, that was it. A little bit with a Haskra. Is a Haskra phone.
I was going to say, who'd be the club you'd go to if you were a Caltra guy that loved hurling?
Yeah.
You'd go to Haskra.
Yeah, Haskra phone. Yeah. So didn't play beyond, I'd say, under 12. Just kind of zoned in on football. Went to St. Jarlath's, all boy, boarding school, all football. That was it. Yeah, but the kids are playing, football in Caltra, hurling in a Haskra now. So there's great excitement for Pádraig and Cathal, and a big buzz around the place now, I have to say, across the parish. Galway, in fairness, it's gone maroon and white, but there'll be a big crowd up there, local crowd up there now, willing the boys on, because in fairness to the two of them, they've been just rock solid all year now. Cathal is on a different level, and Pádraig is Pádraig,
Brilliant men, like they've been brilliant servants, like, and I'd say Meehan really, I'd say like when the two Manions got the news that Meehan was coming back from Dublin and taking over again, I'd say the two Manions said, "Yeah, here we go." You know,
Yeah,
like the, you know yourself, like
it's a big push. Yeah, big push.
Yeah.
They have great time for them. You know, they're both in their 30s now. You know, early 30s. So like they just, like you said, it's when you get there. You know, I know Limerick are Limerick, and Kerry will be Kerry in the final in the football. But when you get there, you just have to throw the kitchen sink at it and try and bring it with you.
You give Mayo a shout?
Yeah, I think so. Like that, just coming in with great momentum. You know, obviously completely as underdog, but they have a lot of momentum on the two games. The problem is, like, Kerry will turn up in the final. That's my expectancy. You know, they're gonna show up, and you know they have that forward power that we know of. I think it'd be a big ask for Mayo, but I could see a right good game. But I couldn't see them getting it done now. But Jesus, it would be amazing if they did. Like, the place would just come apart.
As I was in, what year did they give him a bit of a hockey? And you'd have been playing around this era. It's in the early 2000s in the final. They had a meltdown.
Yeah.
04?
Let me see. 04 and 06. Yeah,
one of them two.
Yeah,
it might be 06. Yeah, we had the wife's first cousin got married in Birmingham, like on the Saturday. So we flew over, like 6 of us, I suppose, and great day Saturday, sure. And weren't flying home till Monday, maybe Tuesday. So all off to this Irish centre in Birmingham, and it was like wall to wall Mayo. And like after 10 minutes, you were just there, Jesus. Did you blow it off, ref? Like, I'm not saying, you know, I love Andy as a guy as well. Like, I just think he brings something completely different. Like, but the same, like, we would have worked, like, Michal joined the Sunday game for a couple of years, and I don't think he ever loved it. But to spend a Sunday with him, because you'd be on the Sunday game like that night, like, and you'd have a few hours to kill, obviously. Like, he's a ferocious hurling brain, like, and he sees things that he wouldn't say much about it, even, you know.
Yeah.
You'd have to bait it out of him, but he knows. He knows what he's at. Like, I think he's one of the best brains, and I think you have two of the best brains in hurling meeting. Obviously, Kylie, what can we say? Like, the record, just the finals, just mental, like.
Yeah. 3, maybe Connacht, maybe as well.
Oh, look, that man has changed the face of hurling. I mean, look at, not taking away from Davy at all. No, I mean, Davy's Davy, but Connacht was with him on the line as well in 13, remember, and 3 on 21 All-Irelands as well with Clare. Like, he's a phenomenal bloke. Like, he's a fantastic hurling brain. Like, and that's another thing. You like, Franny's an excellent coach as well. Like, I'm not saying, you know, they're top class guys. Yeah, top class on both sides of the line. Yeah.
No, it's look at it's intriguing. I know you're talking to two Galway men here, and we're certainly looking at it with maroon tinted glasses, but I think for the neutrals there's a lot to look forward to in this, you know. If Anton, you know, the whole Munster dynamic as well, if that could be loosened a little bit, I think that would help. You know, it just would help the hurling Inc.
Absolutely.
But that may not happen, and
this
that's a problem for another day.
This is a challenge though, because if you think about it, and Munster, we blow it up as well ourselves, because the matches are so intense and the stadiums are constantly sold out. Like, whereas, you know, you're not going to fill Salt Hill, maybe with due respect to Offaly or Dublin coming to town. You're not going to.
No.
But the problem the Leinster teams have had, if you look at it, like, Kilkenny were very unlucky to lose the Tip last year. Remember, like, no goal against 4 goals and Tip getting a winning goal. Clare were quite lucky in 24 to beat Kilkenny. Previous 2 times Kilkenny beat Clare, but it's the question for the Leinster team is, can they do it the second time round? Can they beat the Munster team the second time round? Because I'd maintain the matches in Munster stand to you. Now, you could be caught, and Clare, no, I know well, had a few lucky escapes, even with Wexford. Got an awful scare with Wexford. I think it was in 24 in the quarterfinal. And again with Wexford about 2 years before that. Geez, we're very, very lucky to come out of it. But when they get into the final, does that stand to them then, the Munster Championship, like the cauldron 4 games? Because the All-Ireland Final will be a cauldron, you know that? Like, so Galway, the big advantage Galway have is I was on duty for the Leinster Final, and like there was 46,000 in Croker, and it was a great atmosphere, and the Dubs brought a a big crowd. They didn't turn up really as a team, but Galway turned up though, you know, and that was ultimately his goal would have been to be good in Division 1A, and they were really good. And they were really, I mean, go back to that league game as well now against Limerick, which was effectively a league semi-final. Galway were excellent that night, like, and the teams are very similar to that night, would you believe? Yeah.
By and large, you're going talking 12 and 13.
Maybe midfield is slightly different, but a lot of the backs and forwards are quite the same. So that was number one target, and then number two was to win a Leinster title, which they haven't won a whole lot of now since they went in. And, you know, they did seem to slacken off at the end of the round robin, but we all felt they'd get there. Okay, Dublin beat them in Salt Hill, but, you know, they got it done, and then they turned up in the Leinster final, and they turned up again in Croke Park the last day. So maybe there's a bit more going for Galway as opposed to maybe previous teams that have kind of come, you know, second or third in Leinster, that they have backed it up now as champions and beaten Cork. Like, so, yeah, that's all a quandary. But for me, Jesus, those matches in the places like Ennis, like, honestly, like, Ennis, I don't know if you've ever been down there for them championship games. 21,000 jammed in, like, it's cutthroat, like, you know, but it's brilliant, like, it's same. Even Walsh Park takes 14, I think, and I went down specifically just to be at one of those. Wasn't working, and just got tickets and went down, and Jesus, just any stadium that's full, like, is brilliant, isn't it?
Of course, those provincial grounds.
Correct.
I know we'll have it Sunday because obviously there's going to be full house. But you're a lot of games, you know, in a half-filled provincial ground can, you know, it affects the nature of the game. But, you know, I haven't been, but watching the Munster games, like, they're just they have a life of their own, really, and it's because the crowd are baying for blood in over the sideline.
And like, even like, go back, like, I go way back to my time now, which is ancient stuff. Hoggy told me last night was in black and white. It wasn't quite, but like, I remember, like, Galway had a good team as well in the 90s. You know, they were in a couple of finals, and we beat them in a semi-final in 95. And like, going up playing them in the league in Athenry, like, and Athenry wedged, like, jeez, I tell you what, it was one day, there was a great picture, you know, the season of Sundays that Glenn McManus brings out at the end of the year, the brilliant pictures of the year. There's a guy above in an old oak or ash tree in Athenry, like, he says, Jesus, he's taking his life in his own hands here to see a league game, like, it was just gates closed, the place is full.
Couldn't
like,
get in.
Yeah, like, there's something about that kind of place and that kind of an atmosphere, I think, that stands to you. Even going into a completely different kind of an 82,000 cauldron, but if you've played in front of 13,000 and there isn't another empty space in that stadium, that feels kind of similar.
Yeah, great. I hear you.
So it sounds like, Dalo, if you're putting all your brown envelopes, you'd be putting it on Limerick, but and maybe if they played 10 times this year, Limerick could win 7 or 8 times. But if they don't reach the pitch, and they probably will, they'll go up a level from their last 2 performances, no doubt. But give the Galway fans, there is a few that will listen, a bit of hope. What needs to go right, and where might they win this game on Sunday? Because I actually believe they will win it.
Yeah, you gotta believe. Like, I 2 years ago, Clare and Cork had, you know, stopped Limerick from going for the 5 in a row. I was just so sure. Now, Jesus, it was so close, extra time and everything. But I knew Clare would see it as a massive chance. You know, there was no Limerick in the final, like, and that's what you have to believe. Like, you have to really feel it. The odd whisper I'm hearing from training now, you don't hear too much anymore, like, but they're going really well, like, so to harness that, like, and bring it into Croke Park with you on it, embrace the day as well. I think that's the huge thing. That's why he played 2 of them, as I said, like, but both times I just felt, fucking, this guy's made for this, like, and I'm a Clare man here now, like, you know, like, we did 81 years, but I just said, this is what your life was about, kid. You're going to have to turn up and play. And my 2 best performances, I'd say, in both years, 95, 97, were in the All-Ireland Final. So, like, that's what you need them to come with. Like, you need the Glennons and the Josh O'Ryans and the Trayers and these just to say, no, I'm to be here. This is for me, and I'm a Galway hurler, and we won it in 17, and this crowd caught us in 18 when we were hot favourites, and they've kicked on, and we didn't. We went backwards, and now we're back. So I think that's the key to it, like, that they really just hone in on themselves. Obviously, look, the management will have talked to them about the areas they want to target with Limerick and the areas they want to close down and the areas they want to expose. but you also have to just keep the inside in rather than the outside out, if you know what I mean. It just we are powerful, we are great. We look at what we've coming off the bench. Conor Cooney could come on. Jesus, what a player to be coming on! Like, how many championship medals has he? 2 All-Ireland clubs, you know, on Ireland, Leinsters, fellas like that. Like, it's just they have to just really believe. I think. Look, I could talk tactics, and I could have been, like I was on about the Peter Casey thing, trying to pick up Colin Mannion. That could be a complete load of bollocks. I could be there, sitting there in the press box going, oh, Jesus. This is it. So, like, I don't think you're going to be over-focused on that. Like, they'll be gambling on both sides as to what the other will do. But you just have to bring yourself to the equation. On a final day, you just have to feel, this is happening. I'm going to make it happen here. Like, you know, that if they can do that, they have a savage chance here, I think, because I think, like, Clare have shown them you can upset this Limerick team if you bring the kitchen sink. Like, there's a lot of mileage in this Limerick team too. Like, there's a few lads from Galway with mileage, but there's an awful lot of mileage in the Limerick team. And can you ask the questions, bring them down the stretch, and say, do you really have it, lads? You have your 5 medals and your 7 Munsters, and do you really want another one? Because we want it. That's, you know, rather than make the same way it'll be won in puckouts, or be won if Conor Mannion gets loose. I actually think queer things happen in finals. And always the story, Mikey, and you know it as well, is the fella that pops up that hasn't been the kind of traditional hero.
Exactly.
Yeah, I always say, like,
it'll be someone.
Yeah,
it'll be someone the next day.
The tip 25 year tomorrow at the lunch, like Mark O'Leary just turned up against Galway that day in 01. He just phenomenal, 2 goals and 3 points. Like, you know, that's the kind of thing, you know, that you'll want to happen. Like, and look, it could be question marks, the teams to be announced, I suppose. Will Nyland hold his place? Like, because, you know, he didn't play really well the last day, and okay, he's the free taker, but he to be picked, and him then to say, right, this is what I want to be, and this is what I want to do, and come and do it. Like that make all the difference.
Yeah, I think, you know, I agree with what you're saying. To be in that place, you got to be in that place to be able to ask those questions off Limerick. Whenever the game of hurling breaks out, Galway have to be in it. You know, they have to start well. They have to get the scoreboard ticking and be on the front foot and try and just bring the chaos to make it as uncomfortable as they can for Limerick. Limerick will get down on it, and like any good team, proven winners, they will have their period, but you got to be in the race, and when it's coming down the tracks, to be able to say, right, you know, who can we make it a battle of the want and the will to win it? Because there's no doubt that Galway won't be shy in that regard.
No, and like that old adage, like, about absolutely minimising when they're on top and maxing when you're on top, like that's going to be key, because you're right, Limerick will dominate at some stage, but no doubt Galway will as well. Limerick, I just thought from the start of the year they were on a mission. You know, Caroline Curran back, and it's just something that said to me that they're going to get it done. I haven't been overly impressed with them, though. I just haven't. Like, they fell over the line against Cork and Clare, like, but is that a nice way for them to be going into the final rather than have beaten Clare by 11 or 12 points, and, you know, with a bit of swagger? They know themselves, even been in there last night, that they haven't been going well, but can they keep their best to last? So, as you say, it's a great way of putting it, Mark. If they played 10 times, you'd have all the brown envelopes on Limerick winning the majority of those. Now, that might be only, you know, 6-4, but this host said this is one of the 4, like.
That's what we're hoping. One question, Dalo, before we go into a couple of quick fire predictions. So I'm in the 99%. You guys are in the 1%. You're the guys who've played at the highest level. Unfortunately, Michael didn't get to an All-Ireland final. But tell us what it was like an All-Ireland final day. Like, it's always something I dreamt of, didn't ever get anywhere near it. Everyone dreams of it. Like, what was it like? It must be so special. Like, it must just be the best day ever.
Yeah, I was driving in. It was only the semi-finals, obviously. I was driving in nice and early, I suppose, the last day for Cork and Galway. It was Saturday, and I was kind of I had a car pass, like, obviously, so I was going right in, and then the traffic's getting less and less as you're going right in, obviously, because people can't get any further. But once you have the car pass, you can. Anyway, to make a long story boring, I heard the sirens behind me, and I choose an ambulance or something. No, I better pull in, but it was actually the Cork team coming in, and the outriders on the motorbikes. Like, you're just saying, Jesus, there's only one place to be on this planet at the moment, and that's on that bus.
Yeah.
Do you know, like the buzz coming in? Oh, look, some lads had closed the curtains and wouldn't want to look out and say, that'll affect me. Whereas I'll never forget going in 95, roaring at the boys in the bus to take it all in. Look at them all, look at them. They're here for us. Like, and clear people liberated to be in Croke Park on All-Ireland Final Day. And I said, like, we are not losing this. We're playing the champions Offaly, who were established as a force at this stage, and we come out of nowhere. Clare never really came out of nowhere, but we were always bridesmaids. And I just thought, like, the dressing room beforehand, we let in a soft goal then, like, just before half time, and you'd say, Offaly, all the experience and everything, like, and after telling Fitzy straight away to shut up, because his head was down a bit, like, Davey, shut up and get on with it. I said, and we all kind of said, we'll win it. And, like, once that was out of the way, there was just a feeling of, I heard to, Jesus, near the end of my days, like, and even managing, I was way more nervous. I wasn't really? In the final. I never got a team to the final, a good few semi-finals, Leinster finals. But, it's just, it's the stuff, I suppose, that I would have grown up all my life like that, like what you said, Mark, in the garden, commentating. Like, I took a stupid free. If I missed it, I'd be still shot in Clare to this day off the greatest 65 taker of the era, Sean McMahon. And, like, Loughnane ran the width of the field. He ran right across the field, right?
I remember that.
And because who was down injured? Hugh Rigney was down injured, the centre-back for Offaly. And Dahi Regan had come over, giving me a bit of advice about a replay would be great for hurling and this kind of stuff. And Loughnane ran the width. I could see him coming out of the corner of my eye, like. And he says, are you sure? Like, it's 65, like, McMahon takes the 65s, like, this isn't the goal one now, because the goal, like, it was way back, and I just caught it sweet, and it kind of hit. There's still a dispute. Does it come off David Hughes, or does it come off the crossbar? There's Eamon Taff, who Loughnane is trying to get off the field to replace him. And they tell you don't need luck. But there's Eamon Taff, the best pair of hands probably that we could have hoped that it would have fallen to. But then he runs the width of the field because it's 65, like, it's not a long raker of a free. It's McMahon territory, like. And he says, are you sure? And I was like, fucking ready for this now, because he's not running across the field to say, put it over. He's like, and like, to be honest about psychology as well, lad, you say, like, is this terrible philosophy of the manager? But I said back to him, certain. I was faking it till I made it, like, but I said, this is going over. I don't care. I'm waiting all my life to hit this free. This is going over. Like, and if you can get yourself there, lads, you'll have a great chance of winning. Like, if Galway can get themselves there, but you have to embrace it. Like, if you're in dread of it, you won't. Do you know? I mean, Mikey, you played in the day that I missed out on in the All-Ireland Club Final, and it's bring the club to Croke Park would have been a dream, and we were so close. Like, 3 matches with Bor, the great Bor team, and that's my life regret really in hurling. And just when the day comes, then I mean, you met the Gaeltacht. Like, I mean, there's no bigger kind of Kerry champions, the O'Shea's, so like that's what you have to do. There, you have to just feel yourself that this is my day, like, because this day mightn't come around again. And we got to play in one more only, and we were probably the best team in the 90s from 95 to the end of the decade. We lost 2 semi-finals, one controversially, obviously, with the early whistle, and then the following year when we felt we'd probably win it because we got back into the semi-final against Kilkenny in 99, and we just, DJ got a goal coming down the stretch when it looked like we had him. We had it back to a point, so it just didn't come along again as easy. So, but Marco, to answer your question, Jesus, I don't know, there's nothing like it. We used to fly up, like, it was mental, like, we'd be up out of the bed at 10 to 6 in the morning, meet down outside the shop in Clarecastle. There were 6 of us in the panel, like, I'll tell you now, we had 6 on the Clare panel, like, that time, and get onto the bus then. The bus would be after leaving Ennis, and the Bearfield boys and Stephen Mack and the North Clare lads would have been on the bus. Go down then, and just the hotel going into Shannon, you'd pick up the 6 Mile Bridge lads, the East Clare lads, look, man, and get onto the bus. And you can't, like, geez, you straight away, you get. But then we used to fly up and go kind of to I think it was the Clayton that time in out in the airport, and you'd be a big breakfast, big fry, whatever you wanted. Like, there was no issues. Like, honestly, the one, I'm sure we were fit. Jesus, we were trying to keep on with it. We were training so hard, and it was a summer like this, would you believe? So I might be playing into Galway's hands now. It was roasting the whole year, and big father of a breakfast. The Irish team were there, would you believe? Our soccer team, they were flying out to play a qualifier. And Niall Quinn and Dennis Irwin and the great Mick Byrne came in and said to Loughnane, could we say a few words? Normally, no, Loughnane would clear people like this stuff, but he was just such a guy that would go on the moment to this. And ironically, they were on a training camp in UL when we played Cork in the semi-final. And Irwin and Quinn, of course, Quinn won a Leinster minor with hurling, with Dublin, like. And Irwin was the big GA man as well. And Mick went with him they got a few hours to kill, so they got into the Charlton and the clue about it, I suppose. So they were in the hotel, and we arrived to go to bed for 3 hours. Maybe we'd go to bed for 3 hours. That used to be fair torture above in the room with Ollie Baker, and he used to be able to sleep, like, do you know. But Niall Quinn came in, and Irwin and Niall said, like, he said, we saw you starting it, lads, and we're going today, and we'd love to see you finishing it. Like, you know, we all were
some buzz.
Like, I thought Loughnane was after pulling a stroke, organising the 3 boys to be there. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, but that set the tone, I suppose. And she's down to the room. Baker then said, turn off the telly, pull the curtains and shut your mouth. And he literally could sleep. He could sleep. Imagine that. He could actually sleep. He said the same about the Gooch when he was playing.
Yeah.
He could
this is the morning
sleep.
of the All-Ireland Final.
Yeah. Waking. Yeah. We'd be going down to the Aer Lingus kind of training grounds for a puck around. Like, it'd be more than a puck around now, because we were so fit, I suppose, as well, that we do a nice little bit. But it made no sense in the modern era where you'd get back onto a bus, sweaty and everything, go onto a bus, go back into Croke Park, like, you know, and re-warm up again. And but it just was our way of doing it. We were used to it. Wow. But I used to regularly have to say to Baker, get up, it's 11:30. You know, we have to go down for the few pucks. Wow. So, like, there was a guy that you'd no fear was going to turn up, like, that day. Like, he just took it on his stride.
Come here, just when you speak of him there, and saw a good bit of his sons up with the big ball in Westmeath, Sinan and Tig, and she's for young lads. They're chips off the old block anyway. There's a great bit of steel to them. Yeah,
we're giving a bit back now, like, you know.
That's it.
Baker's giving a bit back to Westmeath. We have Gus Lohan, captain in the Galway minor hurling team, Frank's son.
That's right.
Like, we got the Lohans. Gus will be a capital man. Therefore, and we got the O'Connor, we got James and Christie, and those, when I'd say James, he was 8 or 9 by the time they came to Clare, like. So we got a fair trade off Offie. So
it's time
you back Gus Lohan, and Ollie's doing his bit for Westmeath football.
Westmeath, for the maroon and white. Okay.
Yeah, it was actually great when the boys won, because we still have our WhatsApp group. Like, we were always bonding our group. We were very good to stay in touch, and like I hadn't even thought of it. I knew I was following it, like, that they were going to win Leinster, and Jesus, the amount of boys straight away up on the WhatsApp page. Why Baker? Why? You know, it was great. It was great, and all we got off him was one big massive woohoo of a voice message. I would say he was going maybe tasting a few cold lagers. That's it.
Yes. Has to be done. Brilliant. Good stuff.
Speaking of lagers, you need to get for some. Michael, apologies, I forgot about your Caltra All-Ireland win, of course. And Dalo, thanks a million for joining us. Go on so with your prediction then for Sunday. I got Michael's earlier in the week.
If you told me, Marco, like 2 months ago, this would be the final pair, and I just said that Limerick will be a Galway, like, there's no. But I'm like, I've been blown away by Galway, like, you know, right from the get go. Then I thought were they trailing off a bit in Leinster, but it looks now like it was a bit of a master plan by Meehan to build it back up again. I do give them a shout, but I still think I went with Limerick in April when we were doing preview nights before the championship started, and I just think they're on a mission. And I was thinking to my brother, I honestly do feel if Galway are there and, like, we reach the 55th minute mark and they're within a score, I just could see an upset. But head on the block, I'm going to stay with Limerick. Yeah.
And Michael, you're sticking with your original prediction, are you?
I have to look. We'll go for it. This is big. I just you gotta go with hope in your heart. But and I know the players will be going with more than that. And look, as long as they play with heads up, chest out, that's all you can ask for. If they're in the mix coming down the line, we'll be on the edge of our seats, and who knows what can happen at that stage.
Could be walking across the Shannon Monday evening.
There we go.
The big thing is, Meehan has it done before, like, it's not a rookie guy. So yeah, it's fascinating that the two managers from 18 are back. Kylie's still there. Meehan went to Dublin, went to Sunday game.
That's right.
But he's back.
He's back.
There's a subplot there as well, like. Yeah,
definitely. Great stuff. Brilliant.
All right, listen, Dalo, Michael Meehan, thank you very much, both legends. Appreciate it, guys. Let's see what happens.